Hi, so I'm Sadie Mason, and I'm currently the Chief Executive of Active Sussex. I've been in that role since August 2005, so nearly 18 years this year. So obviously living and working in Sussex, but originally from London. Um, my journey into the sector, briefly, really sort of began as a sports development officer in Glasgow, just for a year. I took on my first leadership role as Director of Basketball Scotland in 1996. Before moving back down to London. Worked with Sport England from 2001 to 2004 before taking up a leadership role with Active Sussex. So that's my journey. Well, I think to answer that, you have to really look at some of the barriers that women face, let alone women of colour. And mainly it's what they talk about is breaking through that glass ceiling or that perceived glass ceiling, which really you see so many men reaching the top a lot quicker than you do women, and women of colour even more so. For example, I think in my 18 years with Active Sussex, I've only actually come across another three or four, or certainly less than a handful, of Black or Asian women in leadership roles. Um, and some of the barriers that we faced really have been, which face regular women actually, childcare, um, not having or having that perceived role of being the person that needs to stay at home and look after the children, and therefore you have that immediate gap in the career. And that's something that I think that men can help with, but I can a perception that women are not perceived leaders. Um, I've often been mistaken in certain meetings that my male peers are or is the chief executive of Active Sussex as opposed to myself, and that's happened numerous times, even quite recently actually. So being mistaken for lower roles when you're in network meetings and other um, um, environments can often be quite sort of, I don't know, you get kind of used to it and you find yourself having to make up for it in other ways. But I think, yeah, barriers are often time because, you're looking after children. It can be that then there's a gap in your career, you're not qualified to the same extent as your male your male counterpart would have been. Um, even things like traveling to jobs. I had to travel up to London for my job for Sport England, and in the end, because I had to balance childcare, that just took its toll. I had to seek a job that was nearer. So some of the barriers that face women of colour can be the same as women of any colour. But sometimes there's things like religion, there's things like, well, when I say religion, I mean your faith, whereby, it's not acceptable for women to be in leadership roles or perceived to be unacceptable, or not usual, should I say. Um, and I think also, for me, the barriers are not seeing anybody else like yourself in leadership roles. So therefore, you can't look up to that person, or you can't aspire, or you assume that there's a barrier there because there's not many of you there to look at. In terms of being allies, they can understand the barriers, they can support their partners or people around them that wish to be female coaches and leaders in terms of taking on some of those roles. And just making it easier for them to continue with whatever career they have and to support them through it. So that's one of the main ways. And another way really is just to speak up about it whenever they come across any form of misogyny, abuse, banter, whatever people want to call it. They should speak up and call it out because it's not acceptable.